Hey there, thanks for being here. I'm getting a ton of calls these days asking about our water shortages that we're having in some areas of Cape Coral, Florida these days. And maybe you've seen some news stories recently about wells running dry in certain areas of Cape Coral. Usually they're limited to a little bit older homes with shallower wells, but I think it's a broader symptom of just the rapid growth that we've seen here in the city of Cape Coral. And those areas that are still on well and septic in the Northeast and the Northwest, there are some areas where the wells have been running dry as we experience drought conditions, and we're pulling on those wells a lot more with a lot more properties in those areas. So in this week's video, I'm going to cover those problems. I'm going to talk to you about what the city is doing to alleviate those problems in the future. And we'll also talk about the utility expansion project and the assessments that go along with that you need to be prepared for if you're thinking about moving to the area and you're looking at a property maybe to purchase in those certain areas that are affected by that. So make sure you stick around to the end of this video. But first, my name is Dustin Guthrie. If you're not familiar with this channel, I'm a longtime resident of Cape Coral in Southwest Florida. I've been a real estate broker here full-time for almost 20 years now. And I do a video on this channel every single week. And usually we're covering just really good informational topics that you need to know, like today's video. Sometimes we're looking at really neat real estate, either in Cape Coral or around the Southwest Florida area. So if you're interested in Southwest Florida or Cape Coral, I'm going to invite you to reach over and hit the subscribe button if you're thinking of moving to Cape Coral or moving to Fort Myers or moving to Punta Gorda, or even if you just live here now and you want to keep up to speed on some really good information that's going on in the city. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can be around for these videos every week. I think you'll get a lot of great information out of these videos, and I just do this to provide some service to you and provide some value in the hopes that when you do need a realtor here in Southwest Florida, you're going to remember me and reach out. And of course, my contact information is right there on the screen, but it's also down in the description of this video. And I would invite you to just call, text, or email me anytime. I would love to hear from you. Love to hear about your real estate goals and tell you how I can help you out with those. So with that being said, let's really get into this. We're going to talk about the utility expansion project. And if you hadn't seen here in the last couple of weeks, they actually changed the schedule on when some of those areas are going to be expecting those utility expansion, the utilities to move into those areas. So let's go ahead and get started.
All right, so in case you aren't yet familiar, the vast majority of the homes in Cape Coral in areas north of Pine Island Road are on well and septic systems, meaning the water that services those properties has to come out of an aquifer under the ground. And the area between Nelson Road in the west and Northeast 24th Avenue in the east draws water from what's called the Mid-Hawthorne Aquifer, and levels in this aquifer have been dropping consistently over the course of the last few decades, really. So some older, shallower wells have been running dry, meaning those folks have to have them dug deeper in order to reach that lower water level. Now, there are several reasons why this is happening, but the main one is simply that there has been a large number of new homes built in this area during the last couple of decades, and quite simply, the more houses that are pulling water out of that aquifer, the faster the water level goes down, because the natural replacement from things like rain can't keep up with the demand. So to try to slow down this drop in water levels, the city of Cape Coral has implemented water usage restrictions in this specific area, but really that's not a long-term solution. The long-term solution is going to be getting homes in this area onto central water and sewer so that they're no longer drawing water from that Mid-Hawthorne aquifer. And that's where the city's utility extension project, or UEP, comes in. The city already built a water treatment facility in the North Cape in anticipation of bringing in central utilities to this area, but now they've got to bring in that physical infrastructure of water and sewer lines and pipes into the area so that the homes can connect to them. And that's exactly what they're doing right now. So as I'm speaking, the city is bringing in that utility infrastructure to a section of the Northeast Cape they're calling the North 1 section.
So this is pretty much what it looks like when the utility expansion projects comes through your neighborhood. We're over here in North 1, which is in the northeast section of Cape Coral. So they come in here, tear up the roads to put that sewer and water infrastructure in, the pipes and all that kind of stuff. And it's just a little bit of a headache for the people that live in these neighborhoods. And it usually takes weeks or maybe even months by the time they get everything put in and these streets repaved. So you're gonna wanna, I guess, just avoid the car wash for a few weeks while they've got your streets torn up. It's a little bit of a headache, but that's part of the growing pains of having a city that's expanding as quickly as ours.
Now, in addition to some minor inconveniences related to the roads being torn up, there's also a cost to each one of the property owners in these areas when the utility extension project comes through. And the cost is in the form of an assessment that gets charged to the property owner. Now, each section will have a slightly different amount depending on the total cost of putting in the utilities into that specific area, but the total amount your property would be charged would depend on how large it is. And right now in the North 1 section where they're actively putting in that infrastructure, a property owner with a 10,000 square foot lot, which is a normal lot, will see about $34,000 in total costs between the assessments and the capital facility expansion charges. Now, that doesn't mean every property owner has to fork over that kind of cash all at once, and in fact, only about 4% of the property owners do pay that all up front. Most folks choose to finance that amount over 20, 25, or even 30 years, and those payments, along with the interest, get tacked onto your tax bill every year. Now, that could mean an extra $2,000, $3,000, or more $1,000 a year added to your tax bill or factored into your monthly mortgage payment. So this is really something that you need to be paying attention to if you're looking in these specific areas that are currently on well and septic systems that will see that utility extension project come into the area in the near future. Now, if you're somebody who's either living in the North Cape right now or you're possibly looking to purchase a property in that area, the city has a lot of useful information on their website about the UEP, and I'll go ahead and link to that in the description of this video so you can check it out. There's also been a big update to the schedule in the last couple of weeks, and this right here is the newest map of the projected dates these other sections will be getting the central utilities. This is a very useful map, so make sure you take a good look at this, and you can also find this on the city's website. But you know, the utility extension project and all the costs associated with it is just one more reason you need to have a competent real estate professional helping you out with a property purchase here in Cape Coral. I've seen a lot of horror stories where folks bought a property in these areas not having any idea that it was about to get hit with those assessments, and quite frankly, that just should not happen if you've got a good realtor. And if you need one, please reach out to me and I'll help you navigate things like this.
So there you go. I hope that's given you at least a little base information on the utility expansion project and what is going on right now in those northern areas of Cape Coral. And maybe if you're looking for a property up there, at least now you have a little bit of a general understanding on what you can expect moving forward. I think there's still great areas, and there's certainly some great pricing up there for houses in the northwest and the northeast. So you can still get a great deal, but you just need to be aware of those utilities moving into the areas, as well as the assessments that come along with them. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do me a favor and hit that like button. It just helps this channel out. And again, if you're not subscribed to this channel, I want to invite you to hit that subscribe button so you can be around for these videos every single week. In addition to these weekly videos, I also do a longer form Cape Coral market report every single month, where I kind of really break down the statistics of the Cape Coral real estate market. And actually, the next video that I'm going to be doing is that next monthly market report. So make sure you tune in for that. You can see what's going on in the Cape Coral real estate market if you're maybe a buyer or a seller here in the near future for Cape Coral. But thanks again for being here. I invite you to reach out to me if I can do anything for you at all. Again, my contact information is right there. But with that being said, I'll see you in the next video here in just a few days.
Like and subscribe. Just kidding.